Welcome. In this video we'll be discussing how to write a mathematical expression. So this really fits into a bigger idea, which is solving word problems in general. And what I want you to realize first of all is that there are just some key words that you need to be aware of. So pause the video and then copy down what I have as the keywords because we'll be using them throughout this process. Restart when ready. So the first thing I want you to be aware of is this first column of keywords really represents words that you're going to see preceding an actual question. So when you're doing a word problem, it's very important to identify exactly what you're supposed to do in the problem. So I've written down a few simple steps for solving word problems. And the first of my steps is to write down your goal in your own words. And so how you know what you're supposed to do, well, you're going to hunt for these words, and hopefully that's going to be within a sentence that actually asks you to do something or figure something out. So this is not an exhaustive list, but at least it's some fairly common words that precede a question. My second step is to draw a picture if possible. Now, not every question lends itself nicely to a picture, but many do. And if you can draw a picture, it's oftentimes helpful. The third piece is after you've stated your goal and you've drawn your picture, I think it helps to label the pieces of information that could be used maybe to achieve your goal. And then the last step is to write an equation and solve. And then the fifth step is to check your work over, as well as the reasonability of your answer. So let's use the keywords and some of the simple steps to write an expression. Now the other thing I want you to be aware of is the word expression means that our answer is most likely not going to be just a nice, neat number. An expression is just going to be a series of variables and numbers, and there won't be an equal sign. So just bear in mind that we're probably going to get answers here that aren't going to be nice, neat numbers. So let's take a look at example number 1. So it says, write an algebraic expression to answer the question below. A board is cut into pieces. One piece has a length of 30 inches. If the other piece has a length of W inches, what was the total length of the board, N inches, before it was cut? Oh, I'm sorry, this is supposed to be in inches. So my mistake. So what was the total length of the board in inches before it was cut? Well, if we go through our steps, the first thing we want to identify is what's our goal? Well, I'm going to hunt for one of these words. And so I see that what was appears right here. So what we're supposed to do, it says, is what was the total length of the board in inches before it was cut? Well, the fact that they use total length of the board tells me that we've got this board and we're supposed to find the full length of it. So since they're talking about a board, that actually lends itself really nicely to a picture. So if I draw our board, well, now let's see if we can label the pieces that could be relevant to achieving our goal. So the way I see it, our goal is to write an expression that represents the length of this board. Okay, so now if I go back and reread the question, the first sentence says a board is cut into pieces. One piece has a length of 30 inches. If the other piece has a length of W inches, and then it proceeds to ask the question. So what I'm going to do is represent what they're saying here. It says one piece has a length of 30, and the other has a length of W. So I'm going to cut my board, and what they're saying is one of the pieces has a length of 30, and the other piece is supposed to have a length of W. And now our job is to somehow remember our goal is to write an expression to represent the length of the board. Well, to me, this looks like we've got what we need. I know that this part of the board from end to the cut is 30 units, 30 inches actually, to be more specific, and the part from the cut to the other end of the board is W inches. So to me, it looks like the total length of the board would be 30 plus W, whatever W happens to be. And again, since my only job was to write an expression, I'm not actually asked to figure out the length of the board. I'm just supposed to write down how I would figure it out if I knew what W was in this case. Okay, I want you guys to try number 2, pause the video, and then restart it after you've given it a try. Okay, so for number 2, again, it's really important for us to clarify exactly what our goal is. So our goal for number 2, well, I look for the what was. It says what was the total length of the rope in feet before it was cut. So again, similar to number 1, our goal is to write an expression to represent the total length of the rope. And because it's a rope that they're talking about, that's something that we can draw. And so here's my rope, and because we're supposed to find the total length, our job is to find the full length from end to end. And again, what they're saying here is that one piece has a length of 46 feet, and the other piece has a length of W feet. So I'm just going to represent that. Again, I don't know what W is, but here's my cut. And what they're saying is this side over here, this piece is 46 feet, and this piece over here is W feet. So to me, the full length I could find by adding 46 plus W. Okay. Then I want you also to try number 3. Pause the video and then restart it after you've given it a try. Okay, so for number 3, again, our goal, I see how many here. So this is where I can find the question, what they're asking me to do. They're saying how many hours are there in D days. So our goal is to write an expression for the number of hours in D days. Well, it's going to be hard to draw a picture of this situation, but I'm going to show you another really powerful strategy in order to solve problems. Sometimes when you're not sure what to do, it's helpful to substitute just temporarily a number in for the variable. So suppose that D were 6. So suppose D equals 6. Then our job would be to write an expression for the number of hours in 6 days. Well, if I wanted to find the number of hours in 6 days, there are 24 hours in a day. So if there are 6 days, that means I'm going to have 6 24-hour periods. And so 6 times 24 would give me the total number of hours in 6 days. If I extended this generally, if D were 8, then my answer would be 8 times 24. If D were 10, it would be 10 times 24. If we left D as just D, my answer would be D times 24. And that's what they're asking for. How would you figure out the total number of hours in D days?